Well, I guess it's time to start that Yu-Gi-Oh! Retrospect.
I got it! Zap apple cider!
100th episode!
Dude, not cool. I was gonna make some Zap apple cider and get rich off it.
100th episode!
My back!
Ow.
Blaze, I'm gonna kill you!
Kill me later! 100th episode!
Dang it, what happened?
Blaze kidnapped us and is forcing us to watch the 100th episode.
I'll rip your intestines out and use them as ooh, cookie! Ow.
Remind me again why I brought over the crazy psycho mare with the magic hooves.
Enough! Can we bigger about this later?
Ooh, nice roar.
Thank you. I got it from my dad.
Hey look, episode 100 of MLP. Let's watch it.
Bugbear, huh?
Huh. So, that was a thing.
Got me tucked.
Well, I would say that's a review worth collabing for. It's still not an excuse for pulling me out of a delicious cookie dough ice cream cake with Oreo sprinkles on top.
They did you a favor. It would have gone straight to your hips.
Ooh.
You calling me fat?
Yeah, I love life, thank you.
She turned me into a newt!
Well, that's what you get for pissing off a woman who can use dark magic.
Plus, if life has ever taught me something, it's to never call a woman fat.
Have none of you seen my video on this subject?
Whatever. I'm gonna get back into my own skin. You guys start.
Well, the premise is pretty simple for this episode. Cranky and Matilda are having a wedding, and unfortunately their wedding dates have been moved from the next day to today, while the main six are busy with the bugbear or bear wasp.
You'd better beware!
Ha! Found a bee joke!
I like what Igrose called it. A bumble bear.
Lore of the Worlds! Actually, bugbears aren't an actual thing. However, they were mischief makers who were actually, well, goblins.
Right. Anyway, I kind of find it weird this is a background episode and it's based off of Cranky and Matilda's wedding of all things. Heck, even some characters of the minor class are at least here. For what reason? No one fucking knows! Hi, Shining Armor, you still mean nothing to me!
I think we're getting ahead of ourselves here.
These so-called background ponies were finally given a chance to shine in the spotlight, much to the joy of a certain fan of a certain pony inspired by a certain doctor.
Oh? Okay, but who's the doc?
The doctor. Dr. Hooves?
Oh, well, who's the stallion over there then?
Doc, as he's called throughout this episode, is a scientist whose personality is loosely based on the Time Lord, Doctor Who. He had a
Particularly traumatic experience.
happen when he was a foal, and that event inspired him to invest his life for inventing and
You do know he's trolling us, right?
Troll-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la-la.
Well, I could sort of see your point in that regard. I can tell in some cases the references to the Doc go from Doctor Who and Doctor Who's in some cases. Like him with Derpy, the suit, the scarf, the accent.
Don't forget that he's with Rose at the end.
Damn, you're right.
Yep. As for the references in this episode, they don't really come off to me as fan pandering in the traditional sense.
Yeah, but this is a love letter to the fans, so fan service is forgivable. But I think the ultimate problem I have with this episode is how poorly paced it is.
This is actually a pretty easy problem to fix, but I'll give an example later. Let's get back to the episode as we see Derpies, Ditzies, Did they ever name her in this episode?
Not officially, but the episode description called her Muffins.
Wait, what?
Yeah.
Well, at least it's consistent, I guess.
Please. That's like me having the middle name Cookie. Nom.
Must resist cheap shot.
Middle name. That's it! Let's call it a middle name! Derpy Muffins Hooves! It sounds stupid, but we can keep the Derpy name!
Aw, yeah, Derpy has a full name.
Anyway,
Let's talk about another couple then, shall we? Lyra and Bon Bon.
they are so cute!
Okay.
They've always been my favorite fan couple in the show!
There is nothing like a best friend, is there?
Shot to the heart, you get no candy. No Lyra and Bon Bon for poor Blaze.
But, the shipping...
Well, we don't really see anything in the show other than Equestria girls of something of lesbian couples.
Okay, but it was more to the point on Bon Bon's past. That comes out of left field.
Actually, I know this headcanon. You see, someone noticed that Bon Bon, aka Sweetie Drop, constantly changes her voice actor. And this is where the little headcanon was born.
How does that translate to secret agent?
Well, think about it like this. If you had the same voice for every mission, would you really have a safe secret identity? This is probably why James Bond gets captured a lot in every movie.
Burn! James Bond got burned!
Anyway, I think a lot of people had different ideas about how these characters would act. I can imagine some were keen on, while for others, they fell hard. For me, some were actually keen on. Some examples are Vinyl and Octavia, Lara and Bon Bon, except the whole secret agent thing. Seriously, who's the person who wrote a fanfiction like that? I need to punch them! Oh, and Doc and Ditzy.
Alright, let's talk about pacing. This episode seems to be lacking in it. Bam! Weddings today. Bam! Bon Bon's a secret agent. Bam! Bam! Steve's here!
Anyway, for me, the pacing in this episode is, yes, a bit rushed, but I feel like it was trying to show some time for all the ponies. Like my personal favorite scene with Vinyl and Octavia testing out some of their music together. I thought it was perfect. But to be fair, I still hate that Steve was in this. You're pointless in the pilot and you're pointless here!
It was technically episode 2.
Whatever!
Pacing for me was actually really good, all things considered. I tend to judge episodes that are basically fan service on a silver platter differently than normal episodes. I do wish that this episode was maybe an hour long instead of half an hour for more coverage, but for the coverage that we got, it was done really well and extremely self-aware.
And that's what I was talking about earlier, Crimson Glow.
Dead bird, now dead man, definitely walking.
If I may talk about another series that reached a similar milestone, essentially the 1000th episode milestone, and is also a kid's show technically. Well, yes, in the 1000th episode of what I'm talking about, there was a ton of fan service, highlighted a lot of awesome points over the 40 years the series is based on.
I swear to God, if what you're talking about is Kamen Rider...
Kamen Rider. Ow, 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 ow.
There. Now, I'm going to untie you both. And when I do, no more fighting. Got it?
Yes, Mom.
Shut up, Blaze.
Can I at least finish my example?
Whatever. I guess it is in your name, you frickin' fanboy.
What the tarnus would you call yourself then? We're talking about an MLP episode.
Did I say this episode was perfect?
I will gut you both if you don't shut your traps! Wait, this isn't my channel. I can curse for real! Son of a...
Yay!
You know, she's kinda hot when she's pissed.
Anyway, the 1000th episode of Kamen Rider had a lot of similar elements to the show here. providing little fan nods, bringing back monsters from previous seasons, and even had its own plots going with it. However, it was successful because it taken episode 999 and made into a precursor. Like Crimson said, if this episode was stretched out to be an hour long or used episode 99 like that, then not only would there be more time for the characters who we've longed to see have more screen time and have a chance to grow and give fans a chance to see their theories were correct or not, but it wouldn't have felt as rushed. And there! Not even one fanboy moment.
He's become self-aware! Run!
And like that, my happiness is a memory.
You're welcome!
Although any references that weren't in center stage didn't really get the huge part that I would have wanted, they didn't lose any luster. For example, even though I wanted to see more Button and Sweetie Belle shipping moments, and possibly some expansion on Lyra's human obsession, it wasn't missed because it had little nods here and there throughout the episode.
Then what about Gummy talking about deep stuff? Where the TARDIS did that come from?
What is life? Is it nothing more than the endless search for a cutie mark? And what is a cutie mark but a constant reminder that we're all only one bugbear attack away from oblivion?
Deep thoughts of worry in the mind of an alligator makes Arrow happy.
It's actually really commonplace for something like that. The best example I could think of with something like this is in Bravest Warriors with the paralyzed psychic horse. You don't think...
I wish I had the slightest clue on what you were talking about.
Oh, for the love of Luna, play the clip!
Every day I hear and I see eternity. I am frozen in awe of my knowledge of forever. But I belong only to one girl. Nowhere can I see more clearly than into her heart.
Anyways, the disjointed nature of this episode could be taken as an advantage as well. After all, life isn't like a TV show where everything is perfectly scripted. Slice of Life was a great example of how erratic real life truly is in that regard.
And everyone crashing into the town hall with a single injury or even spilling the cake is like that.
Again, nothing falls unless Spike is directly under it.
No hating on my dragon buddy!
Speaking of the wedding, anyone remember this scene?
It's alright. He always cries at weddings.
I don't think it's a typical weddings are beautiful tears.
Some characters I would love an explanation to at least how or why they are at this wedding. Like Cadence in Shining Armor and Luna and Celestia. And all the while they give poor likeness to the characters at this moment. Come on, quit crying, Shining Armor, be a man! Or Colt!
I was gonna say he was traumatized from his own wedding. Heck, we even see a changeling show up for some reason.
I want to say that it's a nod to the changeling rebels from fan fictions.
But it's random! Then again, I could admit that he was attracted to the love, but it's still way out of left field.
You're calling an episode dedicated to random bouts of fan service out of left field?
Why are you fighting me so much?
Because I don't like your face!
If I had anything else to say about this scene that affected me, it's probably the fact that the royal sisters actually act like they have a sister relationship rather than royal at the stake of Equestria, royal.
Hey Crimson, Blaze say you're looking a little chunky.
Ow, 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 I hate you, Common, ow,
Now
ow,
jump the
ow,
shark,
ow.
mother! I think we're getting way off track.
We had a set path for this review?
No, more like a set time limit. So to sum up my opinion on this episode is really simple. I love this episode. Top 5 in my favorites this season. Though I didn't see more characters, I'm glad for what we got. The music was grand, the visuals outstanding, the speech from Mayor Mare was inspiring to anyone listening. I think that the only thing that really bothered me about this episode was that some things weren't explained. But that might just be the beauty of this episode, considering what the core message was. As for Stephen Magnet, I don't really care about his character, but it's a nice nod to veterans, and he did show that he actually learned something from meeting Rarity.
I like this episode myself. My own personal problem being I was more awestruck by the fan service than laughing at the comedy. And even after multiple viewings, the jokes were pretty hit and miss. but I still loved how spot on the personalities of these characters were. And it really shows how much the creators of this show cares about their fans to go so far as to make so many fan creations canon.
Well, for someone who saw in both your points, I'd have to say this episode was average. Wait! Let me explain. When I see this episode, yes, I do see something that's been around for a long time, and we're glad to still have it to this day. And I do like the mix with giving the background ponies their time to shine in an episode. But here's the thing. It does have a bit of references everywhere that just practically scream at you. But I thought of these as opinions to the fans to like or critique on. Like how I loathe to see that sea serpent again from the first episodes, to me liking Vinyl and Octi as actual roommates. So for me, I like it, but I can still see some flaws in a way. But in a way, I still don't hate that Vinyl doesn't have a voice. But, beggars can't be choosers.
Bees! Not the bees! I'm not a hater of this episode. In fact, I like how much exposure these characters are getting. In all honesty, it's a great episode. But the pacing is what makes it hard for me from liking it fully. And you can say all the references about the series, but not everyone's going to get each and every reference. The overabundance of characters is also a bit of an issue, since, well, we're practically jumping all over the place. Now, this sort of style can be used effectively, but in my opinion, it's not being done fully correctly here.
In my opinion, what can save this episode from not focusing on individual background ponies is to keep these characters talking, even minorly. Have more interactions with these characters in minor parts of the season. It would certainly add more life to Ponyville, and Hasbro would have more toys to sell. It's a win-win deal!
I'm your future evil overlord, Crimson Glow, and get 100 likes on this video so I can kill these guys in Saws 2 through 4 fashion.
I'm Manga Common. Be sure to examine your fandom, but please take some time to call the authorities if you don't see a video from me within the next week or so.
I'm the Traveling Arrow. Keep traveling on, every pony. Now send us back home, you redhead. Otherwise, I'll make sure the next doctor is a ginger.
Allons-y! By the way, thanks for letting me leech off your audiences, guys.
Fuck you!